Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today. I told y'all I'd make an update real quick. Here we are in the very early hours of the day, or I guess later than the early hours of my last video. We started this day off at about $355, opening it up. Actually, we opened it at $345, but we quickly went to like $355, $356, and now we're back down at the open. So a little bit of volatility, really not just today, but over the past 4 days, right? You either open up and then you go down, or you open down and then you go up, right? And then it's just been the same thing kind of in this area. I will say a little point of concern that I want to address immediately is that, last time you were here, the very first time you're down here, that was your reaction. The very next time you're down here, that was your reaction. This time you're down here, it's been 4 days as of today. If you don't make a move soon, it'll be 4 days that you're in this area. The first 2 times you bounced rather immediately and provided higher highs, right? Doing things differently could mean that you progress to do things differently, right? Perhaps you go down. Perhaps this is overall a 1 move down, a second wave correction, and then you have a third wave down. Corrective phases, after all, if you look over here, as defined by Elliott wave theory, Elliott wave correction, right? It's a 1, 2, 3-legged move to the downside with the corrective wave inside the overall corrective wave, right? Because a move down to this magnitude is just a correction of the overall uptrend that we're in, right? Inside the correction, the correction of the correction is to the upside, just like this here. So I'm just saying, if this were to be wrong, if this correction were to be miscounted or improperly counted, I thought it was like this 1, 2, 3 here. I thought that was it. That was the corrective move and we'd be moving up. But this could all be one wave. This could be the corrective wave, and then who knows? But we'll see. We'll see as we go forward to know if we're going to break lower, besides just doing things differently, because we absolutely still can go forward. And I am anticipating that we do move higher, specifically because of Bitcoin, right? BTC USD here. XCM took a little bath, it looks like, recently. Yeah, BTC being at 105,000. What's really interesting is Bitcoin is near its all-time highs. It's basically at the same price that it closed at on the 21st of January. Right? We go back to the 21st of January here, and MicroStrategy was all the way up here at the same price. So 2 theories come to mind whenever it comes to what's going to happen with MicroStrategy. Either something's going on, and not in a good way. Michael Saylor is not mismanaging funds, but managing the funds in a way that probably puts the Bitcoin reserves of MicroStrategy in a beneficial spot, but not the reserves of his investors, of the shareholders, right? And in which case, who knows? I mean, who knows how much ATM he was actually hitting back in these days? Who knows how many sells were going on? I mean, a lot of it's public. I guess we actually could figure that out, couldn't we? But all I'm trying to say, maybe what I should say is who knows how much of an impact on the price that will have, right? And so far, my theory is this: either it is impacting the price, and we're observing that now, quite literally, being at the same prices in Bitcoin as we were here on MicroStrategy, right? And probably you could even take that a step back, right? Going all the way to December 17th, when we were basically at this exact same price. December 17th being basically here, right? We continue to diverge. So one of 2 things comes to mind. I'm going to tell you right now, one of 2 things. The first thing is bad, right? We're diverging for a bad reason. Or 2, we're diverging because of pessimism, because of capitulation, because of profit taking, and maybe to shake people out. And really what it is we're quote unquote being held down, and it's like think of like a rubber band, right? Here's where we're supposed to be based on the price, because that's where we were last time, and now we've just been pulled all the way down here, but we're supposed to be up there. I think it will launch the price. It'll launch the price beyond where, not where it should be, but maybe beyond what it normally would do, right? If Bitcoin were to move up 10%, for example, MicroStrategy, we would normally expect it to move up 10 to 20%. Maybe in that same move, instead, MicroStrategy moves up 20 to 40%. Maybe it does something a little bit bigger, is all I'm trying to offer by that kind of perspective. I hope that all makes sense. But I am curious to see what happens. I think we'll know we'll definitely know, absolutely 100% we'll know if this is a bad kind of divergence or a good kind of divergence, if and when Bitcoin really starts to run if this doesn't play catch up, right? If in fact Bitcoin continues to crawl like this, and as it continues to crawl upwards, MicroStrategy continues to climb downwards, that would be very discouraging. But I think it will take a kind of sizable move. It will take moves like this for us to determine what's the deal with MicroStrategy here, right? Because if it's a bad thing, guys, if it's a bad kind of divergence that's occurring between the Bitcoin price and the MicroStrategy price, it could come from a couple of reasons, right? It could be ATM selling. It could be because whenever we had this move up to begin with, we were already diverged from what we should be with Bitcoin, but to the positive note. Now it seems like we're diverging to the negative note. Maybe we're just getting back to normal. I hope all this makes sense, right? I'm just trying to, I'm thinking out loud here, right? Hope this all makes sense. And if that's the case, we would keep going down. That really wouldn't be exciting. That would throw the $1,000 prediction in jeopardy, right? And that's why we're focusing on this so much right now. If and when Bitcoin does break out to new all-time highs and it gets moving, if we see a compatible move with MicroStrategy, or what I would expect, maybe even a beyond compatible move, a stronger move than what you might expect, what would be normal. If we see that, then the theory of we're diverging to the negative aspect, not diverging back to a normal aspect from a positive aspect. I hope that makes sense, right? Right? We're not overvalued versus Bitcoin here, and then trying to return to that normal valuation, that kind of native valuation to Bitcoin versus its reserves, or versus what MicroStrategy might be valued at for how much Bitcoin it's having versus the amount of cells it's having. Hopefully we're not diverging back to normality from this big move up. Hopefully what we're doing is, as we're moving down and Bitcoin's moving up, we're diverging from what we should be at to a positive degree. And if that's the case, again, and I'm saying it so many times because I know that I have a real way with my words. So I know a lot of the time what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I just don't know how to say it in a way that makes sense to you guys. So I'm just trying to make it clear here is that when we get a big move up, if this thing doesn't keep track with Bitcoin, if it doesn't tit for tat do the same thing Bitcoin does, and even actually it should move up more, then something's going on here, and we will absolutely have to rethink our $1,000 predictions. Okay, and if that was to happen, it's not the TA that's wrong. There's something going on a fundamental level that prevents it from getting up here, right? The market cap, whenever I made that first call, being at $1,000, the market cap targets might be the same, but if there's dilution going on, you know, maybe the market cap gets to where the price would have been here, but the price to get to that same market cap level, maybe it only needs to go here by the time there's a lot of dilution. I don't know, you know, and there's ways again to figure this out, but I'm a chart monkey. I don't care about looking at the fundamentals so much. I would, and I do look at the fundamentals for certain things, but I got a lot of stuff on my plate, you guys. It's just excuses at the end of the day. But let's finish this video up with less talk and more TA. Bitcoin does seem to be moving up. I very much believe that we'll be at new all-time highs by the end of this week for Bitcoin, which is in 3 days and 9 hours. MicroStrategy ends its week tomorrow. It is Thursday now. So it's very possible that MicroStrategy moves up today and tomorrow. That's kind of my expectation. If by the end of today, MicroStrategy is not at $390 to $400, then the above $400 targets by the end of the week, the $420 to $440 targets by the end of the week, are probably not going to happen. Okay, if we're here by the end of today, we're closing here, then I think we'd be fortunate to be anywhere near 400, let alone, you know, anything above like 380 if we close here today. So we need to see some movement today. If not, what's going to happen is I think Bitcoin's going to move up over the weekend or in the beginning of next week, and that will allow MicroStrategy to grow. And I know we've been saying this, it's like week after week we're saying that, but it's all dependent on Bitcoin. And week after week we've just been chilling. We haven't really been doing anything. Whenever we move up, even, it's not that significant. We move back down. It doesn't give MicroStrategy enough causality to break out either. So we're waiting on you, Bitcoin. We're waiting on you. And I think it's on the cusp. It's literally about to do that. So if not by today or tomorrow, it would be very early next week. We likely would see a very positive, strong move up with MicroStrategy. Again, if something else were to happen, I'm not saying if we go lower that this is necessarily a negative thing and that the $1,000 target is off the table. That's not what I'm saying. But if we went like lower, if we were still in a downtrend, while Bitcoin is clearly not in a downtrend, that would make me rethink some things. We'd have to. But at the moment, targets have not changed. Everything's still the same. Maybe just the end of the week targets have changed, but I still would not be surprised if we were above this high and above $400 by the end of the week. It kind of depends on today's close, and then truthfully, I mean, very realistically, it depends on tomorrow's close ultimately. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, guys, I've got nothing else for you. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. MicroStrategy looking like it wants to have a good day. we'll just see if it does. You know what I mean? And then we'll see if that leads to a bullish finish to the week as well. Hopefully Bitcoin can get things in motion over the next 24 hours, and that I think would definitely allow MSTR to cut loose. Okay, bye-bye.